Live right now?
Right now. What do you mean what do you mean live? We're recording right now.
Oh, okay. The mic is live.
Yes.
Yeah, the recording is going.
Who are you all? Introduce yourselves.
I am Bradley, a Russian doctor who has returned home to a village I don't recognize. Who the fuck are you guys?
Da.
My name's Joe Lloyd. I'm a diode in the force.
Okay.
My name's Tyler. This is my third punch out of 5 on my Special Boy card, and I am one of the Childs of Light.
Hold on. Is this your third punch card?
I don't know.
No,
I know I
You
missed
were here
one.
last time. It reset. No, wait.
No,
He was here.
no. There
was
wasn't
here.
a
That
yeah.
counts. That counts.
I
Never
think
mind.
you're on 2 or we'll see. I can
Okay.
I have the footage. I can go back and check. All right.
It's not like we post these online.
In the spirit of making a slightly better podcast at almost no cost to us, I'm going to be reading out what we're going to be talking about in the order we're going to be talking about.
So you can
You
skip
know,
ahead.
that way you don't have to check the description if you don't want to, if you're just podcasting and driving or whatever.
And it also probably just seems more
Official.
organized that way.
Yeah.
Sounds more professional, which you know we're all about.
You know me, dog.
So we're gonna be talking about Bradley's gonna be talking about Pathologic 2. I'm gonna be talking about a TV show called The Umbrella Academy. Joe and Tyler are gonna be talking about a little movie called Star Wars.
It's
Ooh.
independent film.
I don't know, indie shit. And then we will talk about One Piece, and then everyone will leave so me and Joe can have love making time with Joe
Ew.
Jolion.
Well, I can't do love making when the lights on.
Okay, we'll turn off the cameras. All right, so we can just roll right into Pathologic. Bradley, why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so before everyone turns off their YouTube video, because they don't want to be spoiled on something they may or may not ever play, Pathologic 2 is actually a remake of Pathologic 1.
What?
What?
You don't have to play Pathologic 1 to play Pathologic 2. Its development was like on their Kickstarter, they first like advertised it as we're gonna remake Pathologic, and then somewhere along the line, it's still a remake, but it's also a sequel in addition to that. And just because of the nature of the plot and setting of the game, any game that takes place in this setting would simultaneously be a remake and sequel. So this isn't going to be a long talk. It's just going to be like, hey, here's what it is and maybe what's unique about it. In Pathologic, you are a young Russian medical school student who receives a letter from your father saying that basically he needs you to come home right away because he's basically confronted with an obstacle that he's not going to be able to overcome without your help. You haven't been home in about 7 years, and when you get there, you don't recognize much of anything. The town itself is worn down and very surreal. There's buildings that look like they belong there, but there's also very alien buildings like this giant tower called the Polyhedron that should not be able to stand, but somehow it does. And there's a weird mishmash of all these cultures like Mongolian tribal buildings and like surrealist Russian architecture. And on top of all that, everybody speaks kind of in riddles that you don't understand, and there are these non-human people running around. So a big part of the game is that it's a mystery, and part of that mystery is finding out like what the game is or what happened to this village.
Back it up a little bit. What is the gameplay here? Because I know nothing about this game aside from hearing that it's great and it's frustratingly hard, but that's also kind of the appeal.
Yeah, so a lot of the game is going to be running around town and talking to people. And I think I told one of you guys that I like this game surprisingly a lot, considering over half the playtime is reading dialogue. because I usually don't care for games with a lot of like
That,
cutscenes or
that's
dialogue.
more in my wheelhouse, I feel like.
Yeah, there's a variety of things you can do, um, but they all kind of take a backseat to like just making your choices in dialogue. You can fight people, but it's about like punching trees in Minecraft. Um, it's more about the why you're fighting people than the fight itself. You are a doctor, so you can go around curing people, which will like raise your reputation around town. And depending on your reputation, you could be attacked on site when you walk into a district, or people will like try to help you or maybe give you good deals in shops. Um, a really, I think what makes the game so interesting is that some of the hardest choices I've ever had to make in games are in this one. It tries to make virtually everything you do is going to be very final and permanent. You, the game runs on a clock. Um, like it has like a 24-hour day-night cycle, and there is not enough time in the game day to do everything. So you
From
have to really
from
like
what I hear, each day is like 20 minutes, right?
yeah, you have to really decide who it is in the town that you care about and what you want to do. And it makes it all the more heartbreaking when you show up somewhere and you were 15 in-game minutes late to saving this character's life.
Oh no.
And when a day passes, the events that you missed are gone forever. You are not going to be able to do these events. And there's kind of even more finality to death. Whenever you die in the game permanently gets harder.
Oh, wow.
It'll take away some of your max health, or it might curse you, saying like you will never be able to talk to this person again, or you can't do this kind of action. And this is kind of made even more terrifying by the fact that this persists across all of your saves. So even if you went back to the very beginning of the game, you would still have these penalties. The last, like, I think more unique thing about this game is that I think it's relatively clear from the beginning, both by dialogue and just the way the game looks, that I think it's implied that this game is actually a play that is being observed. There will be people walking around who are wearing like a black morph suit with a white mask, and they kind of act as background characters. And a lot of areas of the town are laid out very cinematically. There will be like stage lights just floating in midair to give something that really nice lighting. And people are laid out in relation to each other the way you might see them on a stage.
I don't know if you mentioned it exactly. I'm just trying to visualize it. Is this a top-down thing or is this a first person?
Yeah, this is a first-person game.
Oh, okay.
So I think while you can do stuff like run around, fighting people or curing people of disease, there's also a survival element where you have to, get enough food to survive, which is usually done by digging through trash cans and trading with hobos and children. Those are elements of the game that you're going to have to do at some point. But I think the core of the game is making hard decisions about who you want to save, and deciding at what point are you going to kind of sacrifice your morality. Because a very interesting thing I've noticed several times throughout this game is that an NPC tells you that you are going to do something. They tell you, the player, that you are going to do something at some point. Like this guy, you are going to kill them. And even though the game does not literally force you to do that, I find myself eventually getting to the point that I do that very thing.
That sounds really cool.
This happened near the beginning of the game where it shows these three guys, and it said, hey, you're about to kill them. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I want to try to play this game peacefully. And then it presented me with a situation where immediately I was like, oh my God, I have to kill these guys. And then as soon as I did it, it was like, you just said you weren't going to do that.
Oof.
So the game kind of fucks with you a little bit.
Yeah, this game fucks with you a lot. I think if nothing else, this is just a supremely unique setting. I haven't seen anything else like it. I don't know if I'd say much more about the game because I wouldn't want to spoil anything. It's really unique. I, like most people, found out about the game through Mandalore Gaming's review of it on YouTube. If it sounds interesting at all, check out the review. That it won't really spoil anything in the game for you. And yeah, Pathologic 2, it's good. Check it out.
What's the Bradley score on it?
I'm gonna give it a tentative 4 out of 5. I'm not entirely done with the game yet. There's a lot I want to do still. But it's a very unique experience I've never had with a game before.
Are there multiple endings?
There, I think, are a dozen endings you can get.
Okay.
So there must be a true ending where... Is there a true ending where maybe you save everyone or save, like, a certain amount of important characters?
I'm not sure yet.
It seems like it'd be difficult to pull off, but it would be rewarding if it is difficult.
Yeah, I've heard it's a very common experience for people to go in saying, like, oh, I'm going to try to be the lawful good. I'm not going to kill. I'm not going to steal. I'm going to try to help everybody. But it's because the game is so difficult that it's very hard to keep that mindset as long as you go. You could, I'm sure, technically beat the game without sacrificing any of your morality, but the game's really going to test you.
Good stuff.